everybody, and welcome to the Fortress Comic News, episode 87. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside
Mike, the third host. The second host being today is Chris's lawnmower. In the interview, you're going to hear a little lawn mowing action going on because it's nice out and the lawns need to be mowed. But I'm sure our adoring fans will power through it.
Yeah, my landlord decided that during my interview was the time to mow the patch of grass that is about the size of a mid-size SUV in front of the window that I record at. So I apologize for that, but what you gonna do?
Yeah, what you gonna do? So what's going on? Anything crazy? Did you go see Predator this weekend? That came out this weekend.
I did not.
Me either. I did hear that Arnold Schwarzenegger is he actually gave up his spot in the Predator movie to be in the new Terminator movie. So that was pretty exciting to hear.
Good. We need more Terminator movies. Probably not, but yeah.
Why not? Dude, as long as Arnold's alive, keep making as many movies as you can. I don't even care.
I'll say this. Outside of like the terrible timeline issues, the Genesis movie was attacked much harder than it should have been. There were some really cool ideas in there and some really cool moments. So,
and I really did like it. I went to the movie expecting like Arnold just killing it, and it was good. I don't know. It was a popcorn movie.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it's not bad. I don't know. Terminator is one of those franchises where it should have ended at T2, in my opinion. As much as I love those first two movies, but T3 was kind of meh, and then it just got crazy from there.
Yeah.
There's a cat somewhere.
We don't talk about Terminator Salvation. That movie never happened. Have you been watching Iron Fist?
I have.
I think I'm on episode 2. It's pretty good so far.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I got to 3 or 4. I got through the first 2, and then I realized that the American masterpiece known as American Vandal Season 2 dropped. And I got sucked into the case of the turd burglar. And, that was that.
What? Is that something you just made up? Like, did you just make up all those words? What
I did not. What is that? We talked about it, I think, last year, but American Vandal came out on Netflix, and it was it's like a mockumentary done in the style of Making a Murderer.
Oh, really?
And the first season was all about this kid who got these 2 kids from the AV club decide to make this documentary because a kid from their school gets expelled for allegedly drawing dicks on the cars of the faculty. And it's like 10 episodes of them. It's fantastic.
Oh my God.
Well, for the second season, they play it off as real. So the kids are like, we're going to do our senior project and we want to do another case. So we took on this other case from this Catholic school about this kid who was torturing all the kids there by doing poop-related jokes. And one of them was the main one was he put laxative in one of the drinks, and everybody in the school started shitting themselves. And he then created an online persona known as the Turd Burglar. So it's American Vandal Season 2, The Case of the Turd Burglar. It's fantastic.
What?
And I watched it all in one day because it was just so good.
Oh my God. Oh, wow. Well, I watched a new show this weekend. It's an Amazon Prime original called Lore, Lore.
What was it good for?
What?
What was it good for?
Yeah. Lore. What is it good for? Terrible puns, apparently. So it actually started off as a podcast series about it's kind of like horror stories of in the 1800s and stuff, like the weird practices people used to have, like the lobotomy and like how the whole story of the vampires came about. They're all true stories. Each episode is a different, it comes from the podcast, but now they have like actual actors playing it, like doing the stories. It's kind of like an actual show.
Oh, did you say lore?
Lore, yeah, Lore.
Oh, I thought you said war. Okay, yeah.
Oh, see, that's why it's a terrible pun, because I'm like, damn, dude,
I've actually heard the podcast before too. It's fantastic.
Yeah, the show is really good. So the first episode I watched, talks about how like this guy's family has tuberculosis in like the 1800s, and the whole story of like vampires comes from that somehow. Like there's this ancient thing where they, if the whole family's dying, they think they're like possessed by a demon, so you have to like find the dead family member's heart and like burn it. It is like really messed up. And then like over the course of time, it developed into this whole thing about vampires and like the first Dracula story. So it was really cool. And it's kind of creepy because I mean it's based on true events and stuff. So it's like really creepy subjects to talk about. Like the first one is that, and the second one is lobotomies, but I haven't got to that episode yet. It's pretty good. It's on Amazon Prime if anybody has that. Yeah. A little more serious than the Turd Burglar, but
yeah. For me, Netflix has been killing it because I got American Vandal, which I honestly, if you have like that sense of humor, it's really good. It's really well done. It's played super straight, which makes it even funnier. And then I watched, while you were out, actually, I watched I Am a Killer, which is a documentary series that interviews death row inmates. And if you like interview style stuff, it's fantastic. You range from guys who are just complete psychotics who have no remorse for what they did to people who are like, I fucked up and why did I do this? That's really good. And then obviously Iron Fist came out. We both started watching that and are enjoying it as of where it's at. And want to know Iron Fist, the new season of BoJack Horseman is out too.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good show.
It's like all Netflix all the time over here.
Yeah, they're doing crazy stuff. All right, so we have some sad movie news this week. Oh wow, we have an interview today, everybody. Holy crap!
That was still the intro.
Yeah, that we're still doing the intro. Today we have a great guest on the show. He writes a book called Dark Age. The first issue is available free online. We'll be posting the link and everything for that. But it is Torey Nelson will be on the show. He writes, draws, edits, letters, colors, everything on the book. So it's pretty cool. So you'll be hearing that a little later in the show. So let's go to the movie news. Some sad movie news. I didn't want to think.
Real quick before we do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. There's the first thing we got to talk about.
We wanted to address something as a team.
Yeah. So, okay. Everybody knows this whole Comics Gate thing going on. Chris has given his opinion about it. I personally think no matter what side you're on, this whole slandering thing is unacceptable completely. I feel like people could sit down and have a civilized argument about things or a debate, which isn't the case right now. So yeah, if you don't know what Comicsgate is, you just Google it. You'll catch up on it in about 30 seconds. So
yeah, and it hit home with us because we have a professional relationship with Alterna Comics.
Yeah, they've been great so far.
It's a very strange situation because they started getting accused of being pro Comicsgate, which we both, at least I feel, correct me if I'm speaking wrong for you, but we feel that they're not a pro Comicsgate company.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a letterer who came out and claimed to be fired by them. This firing was supposedly caused by a social media policy they had, which you can find online as well. You can find my video on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and said he was fired, which caused an outpour and anger towards Alterna, and saying that this was a pro Comicsgate firing and that they were for all this. Well, since then, Peter, who runs Alterna, has shown the emails and gone through all that, and it seems like that was never the case. So it's tough because we know people who work with the guy that got fired. I'm not even going to name them just because it's not worth going over. And we also work with Peter and Alterna. Well, after conversations with Alterna, we feel like they are doing the right thing. And my cat is attacking the mic while I'm trying to be serious.
Yeah, I just see the microphone shaking.
We both talked about it. I kind of presented Mike with everything I was sent, and we both felt that Alterna isn't doing anything wrong here, and our relationship continues. So,
and we weren't paid anything to say this, or I mean, it's not like we're not sponsored with Alterna. We just have a professional relationship, and Chris's cat is destroying his
knocking over pops left and right.
Oh my god. So we're doing this completely on our own. I personally don't like getting involved in arguments like this, but the situation that we're dealing with right now, Comicsgate aside, is complete slander on this great guy that we've been working with. So
yeah, and a little behind baseball, or whatever that phrase is. I'm the one that does most of the bookings, pretty much all of the bookings.
Yep.
I would say. And
yeah, nobody responds to me.
Here comes the other cat.
Oh God.
And so I take every booking case by case. If I don't feel like somebody is worth having on, or I have an issue with them in any other way, that's usually my decision. As far as I can tell, everybody we've had on, I've never had an issue with. I've never seen anything pro or gone to an extreme. And the people I'm moving forward, I can tell you, whether they're from Alterna or not, are creators trying to create great books, and that's all they want to do. So take that for what it is, and let's have a good show, as I am going to escort 2 cats out of this room. All right, so movie news.
Movie news. Very sad news this week. Even up to the last second before recording the show, I tried to convince Chris it wasn't real. Henry Cavill is done with Superman. Rumor has Affleck out for Batman again. Yeah, so Cavill's done with Superman, which, like, man, my personal opinion aside, if you look at all the fans, they're like, I'm done with, like, this is it. I'm so done with the DC universe. Like, he was the shining, like, he was the best part of the Superman character, I think. Like, I thought he was great. Like, Man of Steel being super actiony aside, whether it's a good Superman movie or not, Henry Cavill was a perfect Superman, which sucks. So now DC is talking about moving forward with focusing on a Supergirl character. Pretty sure we already have one that's like 3 seasons deep on the CW or whatever channel she's on. I don't know, man. Like, you're gonna go and do this before, like, Aquaman and Shazam even comes out. I just don't know what to think. I don't know what WB's doing.
It seems like this is done because of something with Shazam, because there was supposed to be a Superman cameo, I guess.
Yeah,
and that's where talks really fell through between the two parties. And then the Witcher news popped up last week, and after that, that's when he kind of said he was done.
Which I'm almost excited because, Daniel Craig's done being James Bond after Bond 25.
Yes.
You need a very young, dapper British man to be James Bond after that, right?
Please don't let it be Henry Cavill.
You don't want Henry Cavill as James Bond?
I do not.
Oh, man.
I think Henry Cavill does certain things really well.
Uh-huh.
But he's not the best actor in the world.
Ugh.
That's my opinion. I know his names are brought up for Bond. There's certain people I would like to see over him. I wouldn't mind seeing Idris Elba just because he's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
I don't care about anything other than that. And there's a few other names that popped up, but so there's been stuff going on the internet. Like, John Hamm went out and said that he would like to be Batman, which is like, it's okay, but it'd be another older guy being Batman. Yeah, so the Affleck thing, I'll believe it when I see it, because how many times have we reported this exact
there's
thing?
been stuff online. He's like in rehab now for like drinking and stuff. So
yeah, he's been in, he was out, he wrote a script, he didn't write a script. Script's amazing script. I mean, no one can decide what's going on with this man.
Yeah.
And but at the end of the day, it almost sucks to say because I'm really looking forward to Aquaman, but I almost feel like they should just cut their losses and reboot at Shazam.
Yeah.
Things just keep falling apart for this universe. Nothing is working. You can't hold on to actors. I mean, the movies, even the people that enjoy them, I would agree that they're subpar, especially compared to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hate it because I want to see more of this Aquaman that they're building and some of the other characters. Maybe even taking Flash and making it Flashpoint again and just doing something.
Rebooting everyone. That's
Or not even. You don't even have to reboot everybody, but you could do a Flashpoint and then come out the other end with different Superman, Batman, and just get people long-term contracts. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't even think of who I would cast as Superman right now. It's just like I don't.
So the name I kept hearing was Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, it was like Earth 2 Superman.
Well, they just said Superman. So
that'd be fine.
Yeah, Tom Taylor said that when they were creating Earth 2 during the New 52, that he was kind of the look they were going to for Val-Zod. Yeah. So,
if anybody doesn't know, Earth 2 has Black Superman by the name of Val-Zod that strikingly looks similar to is like same body size and everything of Michael B. Jordan.
So yeah, I don't even know if this is continuity anymore, but yeah, during New 52, there was a book called Earth 2, and it was the JSA, and they kind of reimagined the JSA.
Yeah.
The Green Lantern was actually a part of the Green, and Superman had died, but they found like a distant relative of General Zod called Val-Zod.
Yeah.
He looks like Michael B. Jordan. A bunch of different things. So I really liked that book. I thought it was interesting. I would be down for that if you just say, oh no, Superman got shot by a kryptonite bullet, and look, Val-Zod's here now.
Yeah, Val-Zod's here. I'd be cool with that, yeah.
Like, that'd be cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would watch that. I mean, we've seen so many Supermen, like so many Kal-Els. Like, give us a Val-Zod. That'd be cool, man. I'd be down for that.
The only thing that really sucks here is that they just did the Justice League movie where they resurrect Superman.
Yeah, just to kill him off again.
Like, that's got to feel so shitty as the writers there. Like, dude, we could have just done something different with Justice League and not had Superman resurrected.
Or as him resurrect and, like, force the Justice League to kill him. Like, how much better would that have been as a movie? Like, Diana Prince has to, like, snap Superman's neck.
Yeah, this is unfortunate news for any DC fans. I don't know what they do moving forward.
Not to keep going on with it because I'm pretty upset. But anyways, there's a rumor that Guy Ritchie's working on a Captain Britain and Black Knight movie, that's some good news. That just makes so much sense. I mean, Guy Ritchie is a British director, but also just the type of heroes those are. The whole British pop era heroes, right? Yeah. And Guy Ritchie's style of like fast moving changes of scenes and like awesome music in between. I don't know. I think it's a great idea. I think that works perfectly.
Yeah, and it could give Marvel yet another team to build because there's plenty of British or European superheroes, and there's like a European Avengers that even popped up for a while too. So that would be so awesome. I hope this is real because 1, I love Black Knight. He's a fantastic character. 2, I love Guy Ritchie. And 3, it would just... I mean, could you imagine if they did this and then did a couple more and, like, I don't know, even if they didn't call it Avengers, they call it Invaders or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's perfect. I hope
it's like where DC wants to be right now, but like Marvel's been doing it so well that they're like, okay, now we can start doing international adventures. That's really exciting. All right, we're gonna cut to an interview, and we'll see you guys in the
Welcome back, everybody. Today we've got artist, writer, editor, letterer, Torey Nelson of Dark Ages. How's it going today?
Pretty good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, welcome to the show, man. So yeah, we have a cool project to talk with you about. Dark Age seems to be a pretty large universe that you're starting to unfold here. And you're doing everything on the book, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll definitely talk about that. You might be the first guest that's done everything on a book. I don't know, Chris. He's like the Swiss Army knife of comic books. This is pretty cool.
The closest might be Lemire.
Yeah,
I don't think he lettered and everything. So you got.
I'm pretty sure. Even though Lemire did all that stuff, like he still had to go through like DC editorial and everything, right? I mean, yeah. But anyways, welcome to the show, man. Let's talk about your origin story. Were you reading comics at an early age? What got you into comics? Do you like them, or you just like writing them?
Yeah, I always liked them. The only comics I owned when I was really young were a few Marvel comics that I won at our local arcade.
Oh, wow.
It was like a random Namor comic and I think one or two Avengers comics. But yeah, those are the first ones I personally owned, and it immediately appealed to me. And me and my brother were really into like our Sega Genesis. So we started buying the Sonic the Hedgehog comics too.
Oh yeah, the Sonic comics, yep.
But then like I didn't really buy any comics after that. In junior high, I started drawing like my own knockoff Avengers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was mostly just drawing characters, and I had like tons and tons of villains, and I had it all planned out. And then about the time when I was like ready to start drawing the issues, that's when I got tired of it and was like, I want to do something else. So I just threw all the notes and everything into a drawer and left it there. But then I didn't just like a few years ago, I just decided to randomly go to a comic shop because I hadn't read any, and I wasn't really looking to get into like the superhero stuff, but I just wanted to see what was out there. And that's when I first saw Black Science. Yep. And that just lit the spark immediately. I was like, oh, hey, like comics can do things besides just superheroes.
Yeah, it's awesome, right?
Yeah. And that's what got me reading comics again. So
that's cool, man. I have some friends with similar stories to where like when I got them to go to the comic shop with me, they're like, wait, it's not all capes and Batman. I'm like, you'd be surprised. When I first got back to the comic shops, like buying comics, it was like, I picked up Batman, but then it was, oh man, what does Image have out? They had like Walking Dead and Saga, and then it gets you into all the Brian K. Vaughan stuff. And there's really so much good stuff out there that's not necessarily, like superheroes dressed up punching each other in the face.
Yeah, like a friend loaned me Walking Dead, and I thought that was really good, but I guess I just never put two and two together. Like, hey, Image might be doing other cool stuff.
Well, Black Science is really cool. I actually read Black Science in trade form, so I don't really talk much about it on the show, but it's definitely on my radar, and I that's one of the stories I like because it really, you could go anywhere because they're traveling like different universes, right?
Yeah,
planets. So they press the button and they're in a new spot every issue. So
yeah, like there's nothing that's not on the table.
Yeah, and I'm guessing you thought, hey, maybe I could do something like that with my book because it seems like you could go a lot of different places with it, right?
Yeah, that was the main draw. Was like it's my own universe, and I could put anything in there. So it's basically all the cool stuff that I would want to read in a comic. It's all in Dark Age.
Awesome. Well, why don't you give us the quick Cliff Notes version of the plot, and then you could start talking about it.
So basically, there's a cult in space that's trying to summon this outside force from a dimension that's been banished for a long time. And the Legion, led by Sarnath the Scourge, who's this badass necromancer, he breaks Killdeer out of basically a lifetime of imprisonment, and they start working together to forward the Legion's goals, and then they eventually stumble upon this cult and realize, hey, this is probably the biggest threat to the universe right now, so we need to do something about it.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. The first issue is for free on your website, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the origin of Killdeer, of how he was a long-standing king and everything was going well, and then shit hits the fan.
Yeah,
for him, kind of.
I just wanted like something that was kind of just like a foot in the door for people. It's pretty hard to get your comic out there, especially if you're an indie artist. So
yeah,
I wanted something that people could immediately read and kind of whet their appetite for what's going to come later.
So through the whole process of making this comic, obviously, is the art the easiest part for you? Like, you already have these images and...
Yeah, I would say. I mean, the writing comes pretty easy for me too. Like, I have the whole first arc already written out.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so like that comes pretty easy. Like, it's easy to do, but the drawing is getting easier.
Yeah,
probably the hardest thing is the lettering, honestly. Like, making like the sound effects look good.
Oh yeah,
like it'd be really simple because it's just straight lines, but it's unbelievably hard to make letters that are actually like cool to look at and they don't look like some cheap attempt at lettering.
Yeah. You don't think about how much work goes into like opening a full spread page and seeing like Crackoom across it.
Yeah.
Right? So like the infamous Crackoom, or like Boom, like from a boom tube. You're like, where do you even start to put a giant word like that and not make it look silly? Yeah.
And like for me, I feel like the visuals like should tell you what's happening. Like, if there's an explosion, me personally, I don't really think you need the shaboom to be there, because like an explosion, you can see that it's probably loud when it's happening. So I kind of pick and choose when to use the sound effects stuff, but literally every time I draw a word, I always just like stare at it, and it just doesn't look that good to me. I do my best, so hopefully it doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
When you're writing this, you said you already had the first couple issues done. Writing wise, do you have a planned out for multiple, like 10s, 20s, however many issues, or are you just kind of taking it as it goes?
Nah, I have the first 22 written. So that's basically the first arc, and that's one of the downsides. Like, writing is definitely the easiest thing for me, and it's really hard not to just keep writing and looking ahead and think like, oh, what's going to happen next? Next arc can go here. It's too easy to just see all the way down the road and where you want to go, and then like that stuff starts to be more exciting than the issue you're working on, because that's when all those story arcs come to a head.
That's why it's best to be the writer, because then you're writing, you go, here, make this happen. It
already happened in my head, and now it's like, oh wait, I have to actually go back and draw all this.
That's the interesting thing. Like, you don't really have that stress of putting a deadline on yourself to get a drawing, right? Because it's you doing it.
It is tough, because since I've like written everything and thought about it for so long, like that's one thing I struggle with, is keeping it fresh and staying excited about it myself, because like I've read this first issue that I'm finishing up now so many times, like I can hardly even look at it anymore. Like, I know exactly what's going to happen. I know what each panel looks like. It's just getting through that, like, again and again. It's just probably the hardest thing.
Have you ever thought about having someone else do the art, or was this always like you wanted to do everything?
Yeah, I definitely want to do the line art. Eventually, I could see myself like getting a colorist. That would be like, I definitely want to establish the color palette for the series, like in these first few issues, but once enough of them are out, I think somebody could come on and kind of see what I've been doing. And put their spin on it.
Awesome. All right, so what are your plans to how are you going to release the book? Just through your website, do you think, or are you going to work with a publisher? Or?
No, I'll probably put it out in Comixology first, and then once it's out on there for a little bit, I'll probably try and pitch the Dark Horse Image, some of those indie publishers.
Okay, cool.
But the only thing with that is, since these are larger issues. Like each one's going to be around 120 pages. And I'm working a full-time job too, so it's kind of hit and miss when I have time to work on the comic. So I don't know how a publisher would handle it. Hey, these might only come out once a year or something. I don't know if they'd be down with that, so it might be digital only for a while.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Well, if I may, my advice for you there is there's tons of indie publishers outside of the image that you know. Ahoy Comics, Alterna's one we've worked with a bunch. Boom, who do like these kinds of books and then do them in like 5-issue arcs and then release them that way. That way you're not in the pressure of a monthly schedule.
Yeah.
That might even be something worth thinking about as you move forward with it. Because a lot of these guys we talk to, they're like you and me. Like we have day jobs and this is just something we do in the afternoon. So that's what I would suggest maybe as a starting point to get yourself out there after the Comixology launch and everything.
Yeah, I've seen Alterna stuff, and I follow a bunch of the guys, like the main guy that runs the company on Twitter. So yeah, that would definitely be something I would look into.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I mean, that pretty much sums up my questions. I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the story. I really like the first issue.
Yeah, so where can everyone check out that 0 issue or first issue that you have?
They can get it on my website, darkageuniverse.com, and there's a link right on the front page.
Awesome.
And we'll have a link in the show notes as well. So, Torey, thanks for being on. We both really enjoyed the book, and we look forward to getting more from you soon.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, we back? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're back.
Sorry. That was a great interview.
Yeah, great. Good stuff. Awesome. So let's get into comic book news, huh?
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so excited.
So yeah, I mean, you could start us off with this one. I mean, this is your book here.
So this is a Chris Power hour right here. Marvel news.
Yep.
Kyle Higgins and Rob Reese are bringing back Winter Soldier this December. Fuck yes.
It's ironic that Winter Soldier is coming back in December.
That's real good. I like that.
Anyways.
So I love Winter Soldier. There was that one book a few years back I didn't care for too much, but outside of that, I love the character, and Kyle Higgins, perfect writer to take him over. Because basically Winter Soldier is exactly what he tried to do with Dick Grayson.
Yeah. That's it's awesome. I mean, he's a great character. As far as like villains go, that have like come back full circle as like, okay, now they're a hero, like an anti-hero almost. I think he's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. And then after that, there's also another Chris book coming from Saladin Ahmed and Javier Garon. I think I nailed those names, by the way.
Yeah, I think you got it.
And they're bringing back Miles Morales Spider-Man in December.
That's pretty cool. I know a lot of people have been missing that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I like Saladin Ahmed. He's doing the Exiles book at Marvel right now that I really enjoy. So I'm down for him to do more stuff. And Miles Morales was a character that only Brian Michael Bendis has touched. It's his character outside of Teamwork, but it's solo book. And he said from the beginning that somebody else is going to take it over. And of course, he has no control over that. But I think they picked a great team, and I'm really excited to get more Miles Morales Spider-Man. I enjoy him as a character more than Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I know there's a huge Miles Morales following, so that he's coming back is pretty important for the universe. So
the last Marvel bit is Ed Brisson and Dylan Burnett are bringing back the original X-Force in December. So it's the original team. Ed Brisson's been an X-Men guy for a while now, so not too unexpected. I don't know. I'm not a huge X-Men or X-Force guy, but exciting for the people that enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, DC news though. Steve Orlando and Riley Rossmo are doing a 12-issue Martian Manhunter series in 2019. It's about time. It's about damn time. I think the world is ready for a Martian Manhunter series. I think they finally figured that out. The stuff that Orlando did with Grayson was pretty popular. So
yeah, and I think it's perfect. That's a 12-issue series. Martian Manhunter is a good character, but I don't think he holds his welcome for very long by himself.
Yep. And then we got Venditti and Ed Barrow are doing a 12-issue Freedom Fighters series in 2019. Holy crap. We're getting a Freedom Fighters book, everybody. It's happening.
Oh, I'm so excited. And it's on Earth X.
Wow. It's on Earth X.
So when Multiversity came out and the Freedom Fighters came, that was a book made for me. Like, you kidding me? Uncle Sam fighting a Nazi Justice League? That sounds fantastic.
Perfect.
And then I started looking at past Freedom Fighters books, and they're all like in continuity in DC Universe books, and they just weren't what I'm looking for. Well, Robert Venditti decided to take what I'm looking for and make it into a comic.
What a guy. This is awesome.
I'm super excited for this. That one issue is the standout of that Multiversity. Not saying something because that was a great series of that Multiversity run, and I can't wait to get my hands on this.
Yeah, that's really cool. This has been a long time coming. Walmart adds 2 new exclusives to their 100-page series. They're doing The Flash, and now they're adding Swamp Thing for a Halloween Halloween special, which I'm actually going to walk into Walmart for that one. I think the Halloween special.
Yeah,
I think I got to read it.
I picked up a couple when they first launched. It's $5 for 12 pages because the rest of it's just reprinted stuff.
Yeah,
I'm glad it worked out for them because hopefully there's a few people that got into comics this way. But I don't think it's worth it for me.
Yeah,
because I feel like I still feel like they got to reprint this stuff down the line.
Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't.
So,
but
it's still exciting because more people are going to get their hands on some comics.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the DC news. Now we're going to talk about some comics that we read this week.
Yeah, we are.
Spider-Man. 5
or 5.
5. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So Peter and Spider-Man are back together.
What?
And it feels so good.
Twist.
So yeah, it's basically bringing those two back together, and we kind of get the image of who the real villain is. Although, not being a huge Spider-Man guy, I have no clue who this guy is.
Yeah, what's his name again?
I don't think they gave his name.
Or they?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, Kraven the Hunter was the main guy, and I do know Kraven the Hunter, but this
I know that one.
Centipede-looking dude.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I've never seen him before, so excuse my ignorance there. But yeah, Kraven the Hunter's coming back next issue, and that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, he's a pretty big villain, right, for Spider-Man?
Yeah.
If I knew who he was, is probably pretty important.
And yeah, and then having Taskmaster and Black Ant, that whole sequence with them, being interviewed by this, what was it, Department of Homeland Security and Metahuman Division.
Yeah. I just love Taskmaster. I love Taskmaster because he reminds me of Skeletor. The only reason I like that character.
Yeah, Taskmaster's a great character.
And I had the only other 2 books I had were Weatherman and Amazing Spider-Man, or Oblivion Song. And Oblivion Song was pretty good. They have the main character in custody, and he finally reveals. We finally get 7 issues in. We finally get the whole story behind like what happened what with the scientists looking for this pocket dimension, and how they, instead of going there themselves, they bring the whole city of Philadelphia into the dimension, and people start dying and stuff. And then
it was an origin issue.
Yeah, and we see his brother trying to like acclimate to the real world now. So that was pretty good. Weatherman number 4. Did you read that?
Oh yes, I did.
You want to talk about that one?
Sure. So we get this character who seems to be some sort of mercenary, and he is attacking this compound and just annihilates people with this sweet looking railgun. And then the lead character's ex-girlfriend there, I'm forgetting her name now, but she's having flashbacks to the day on Earth where everything went wrong and the terrorist attack hit, and that's a pretty gruesome sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But basically it's her trying to figure out what's going on with our lead character there, and we end up finding out that he got taken by this group who thinks he's the Ian Black. And they're going to auction off the ability to enter his mind and torture him for, an hour at a time until he dies.
Sounds like a good way to go.
Yeah. I stick by it. This is the best comic on the shelves today.
It is really
love
good.
This book.
It is really good.
The color palette on it is fantastic too.
The art is... The colors, the color is fantastic. You're right. What else you got?
So that's all you had?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Fantastic Four number 2. Basically, we find out what Reed and Sue and the Future Foundation have been doing all this time, and they've been basically creating these dimensions and trying to remap the multiverse. And Entity appears and is going to try to destroy the multiverse that they're creating. And the Entity gloats about defeating them at the end, because she does. And Reed goes, well, you didn't really defeat the Fantastic Four, because Ben and Johnny aren't here. And so she challenges them and says, well, then why don't you use this, and sends down some pod and says, use this and get them, and I will defeat you even with them. So Reed being Reed and being a sly bastard, he doesn't just bring Johnny and the Thing. He brings everyone that was ever a Fantastic Four member. So that includes Medusa, Wolverine, Spider-Man. I mean, there's just a panel full of people, and they're going to fight this. Still kind of ramping up, but the way it ends, I really enjoyed, and we'll definitely be giving it another issue to see if the story picks up a little bit. But it's kind of weird the Fantastic Four book hits, and it took 2 full issues to get the Fantastic Four together.
Yeah, to finally get them back together.
Darth Vader number 21. Mostly what I'll say about this is the beginning of the story arc of how Vader gets his castle.
Hell yeah.
It's really great issue. Charles Soule's been killing it in the Darth Vader book, and this is just another great issue. That if you're a Darth Vader fan and you like the castle and want to know the origin of it, jump onto this one, and it's a great place to start. Champions number 24. I don't talk about Champions much. I was actually behind on it a little bit, but then this issue came out and I caught up. I really love this issue. Jim Zub did a fantastic job on it. The whole story is about Miles basically plays hooky from school, and there's a school shooting at his school, and one of his friends gets shot. And it's this whole... It's a very deep book, but it's a whole back and forth of Miles going like, I should have been there, I could have done something, and learning to deal with the fact that you can't be everywhere and you can't save everyone. This book could have turned and been an extremely political and divisive book, and Jim Zub just towed that line perfectly. Yeah. It's very inspirational, isn't in your face, and he never once kind of shoves any political ideologies down your throat. Champions, absolutely awesome book. Definitely give it a shot. And finish with Infinity Wars number 3. So basically, this was a setup for the Infinity Warps series, which is a series of. You remember the old Amalgam series where they took a Marvel and DC character and combined them?
Yeah, they got like the Batman Wolverine combination and stuff.
Yeah, so Marvel's doing that, but with their own characters.
Oh, okay.
And this was the setup for that. So, like, next week, there's going to be Soldier Supreme is the first one, and it's a combination of Steve Rogers and Doctor Strange. So
that's pretty awesome. Like a Barbie guy who can do magic.
it's fantastic because he has the Captain America mask with Satanist star instead of the A. And then he's got a handlebar mustache and robes. It's fantastic.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
So Gamora takes the stones and creates this pocket dimension for all these heroes to exist, and then combines a bunch of them together. And that's kind of the whole book. It's them setting that whole thing up. And then there's a great sequence because Loki's was stuck in there with them, and he has to find Xavier to help him out with everything. And Xavier gets combined with Wolverine. So it's this interesting sequence of him talking to him and then getting stabbed, and Wolverine reading minds, and it's just a really weird and wacky book. I wouldn't recommend it if you're not a big Marvel fan, but I'm really enjoying Infinity Wars. And then
it was a big week for Marvel. Next week is the 2 Batman books.
And then my last book was Archie 1941. So this is a Mark Waid book.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, Mark Waid helped reboot Archie, 2-3 years ago? Fiona Staples. And he's leaving the book, but he wanted to do this last 4-issue arc before he left Archie altogether. And it's in commemoration of Archie's when they started. So the first Archie book was 1941. And he wanted to take that same approach, but to the 1941 style Archie. And the whole gang is just getting out of high school, and they don't know what to do with themselves. And World War II is ramping up. And it's a whole thing of what these kids are going to do with their future. Are they going to go to college and do this? Or are they going to end up getting drafted and going to war? Really great. Another deep book, but does a really good job of telling that story and kind of keeping the characteristics of the Archie characters at the same time.
Nice.
And that's everything. So, Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on the Twitters. Where can they find you, Chris?
Fortress Chris.
Wow.
So we did that on purpose.
Where can they find the show?
You can find the show at FCN_official or FortressComicNews.com, where we post everything we do here on the internet, right there on that website.
Right there.
Remember, you're listening to us. You can hear our voice. Leave us a review on iTunes. 5 stars. It helps us reach more listeners. And if you're watching us, our beautiful faces on the YouTube, thumb up down below, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, all that fun stuff. We appreciate you very much. And that's all I got.
See you next week.
Bye, everybody.